Hey everybody, welcome to etrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the RockyMounts BackStage 2-bike platform rack here on our 2020 Nissan Murano. Now, platform racks are going to be a great way of getting your bikes to the trailhead with a lot of stability and a lot of cool little features that still allow us to usually get a lot of access to the back of our vehicle. And none other than the BackStage can do it better, in my opinion, as you are getting a great little swing away feature with this guy. Not only, yes, can we tilt away from the back of our cargo, but we are going to be able to swing this guy out and get full access to the back of our Murano, get into that spacious cargo hold and get anything we need, and we can even turn it into a nice little hangout spot while we are actually out at the trails. The platform rack itself, though, as you can see, is going to be a nice little kind of low profile guy. Not going to be anything too crazy going on. You'll notice all these little blue kind of measurements throughout, or blue contact points throughout it, I should say. And what's great about that, alerts us exactly to where we need to be to start manipulating our rack and doing what we need it to do. On the end here on this ratcheting arm, you'll see we have that little lever just letting us know exactly where we are to start allowing us to ratchet this up or down. As you can see as I pull that down, not going to be going anywhere unless I actually activate that lever. So great little system there, of course. Nice little ergonomic design as well into it. The Cradles themselves, too, have a nice little groove for, yes, our 18C standard tires right there in the middle, widening out for some of our wider tires as well. And one thing that's great about the BackStage, too, it already comes with an included fat tire strip that's been included. You can see how monstrous of tires we could actually fit in with this guy. Now, it only does come with one of those innately. We could end up picking up some more if we need, but nice that we have just a little bit to actually start making sure we can fit some of these bigger bikes. Now, you might mention, too, today we do have a 60-pound capacity limit per bike. So as you notice, we have our big, heavy e-bike up on here. One thing with those guys, though, it can definitely get up to those weight capacities. Let's make sure we are taking out that battery coupling. Don't want that causing any kind of damage if it were to come undone. And it does just add a ton of weight to our bike that we can quickly take off and throw inside of our vehicle. Now, we do have a tire hold system here today, too. You'll notice we don't have any frame contact. So if you're looking for a carrier to also transport some of your lightweight carbon frame bikes, this can be a great option. And with that tire hold being the way it is, too, we're going to have no trouble with a host of different kinds of bikes, whether it be women's bikes, step-through bikes, and kiddos' bikes. A lot of times you start seeing issues with those with hanging styles and even some of those frame platform styles. But since we are utilizing that front wheel mount there, going to have no issue at all making sure that those guys can fit on here. Again, that adjustable kind of cradle really helping with that as well, just for those kind of different length sets. So you can see it rotates. That front cradle also condenses down, does a good job of holding itself in there. And one thing I like about these front cradles as well, guys, is, you know, we saw that that tilting cradle can really start tilting back, which is great if you have a very long wheel. However, it might start, you know, looking like it's going to be falling off on that end. You know, as you can imagine, it gets a little high. However, because we have this cradle here holding it in, we won't be worried about it falling off on that back end, as it will be secured by that front cradle. So really do like how those guys are. Pretty well designed there. And you can see, you can collapse it down, make it that much more easily collapsible, which will be big when we go ahead and put this in its folded position. Now, a great thing with this, as we mentioned, is that it can tilt away. To do so, we just bring ourselves right to this blue lever here. This is going to allow us to actively drop this down a little bit here. Oh, and I see what my issue is here. We want to make sure that our lever isn't actually going to be in our way here. So I'm going to go ahead and just tighten this down a little bit more to allow my tilt away to continue all the way like that. You can see, don't want resting on that lever. Want it to be able to tilt down just like this. You can see this is going to give us a ton more room. I can come in here and actually open my hatch with no problem. Now I can get in here, get those coolers, bike helmets, anything I might need with a quick little access. So great little option there, of course, especially, you know, if we're just getting some groceries or maybe making a gas station run on the way home. Nice that we can pop in here, get anything we might need, add anything else. However, you know, still can't really hang on the back end there. As you saw, not a ton of room. So if I bring this guy back up, what's great about this, though, is actually its swing away maneuver. I think that's what really started setting this guy apart from the rest that I've seen, and I really like how the system works. I'm just going to start by loosening this lever in the bottom here. It's going to go ahead and do the main job of separating our internal assembly there. And then on the right side here, there is going to be this little blue knob that we want to go ahead and just pull straight up. It's going to go ahead and let this start rotating out. As you can see, that's going to push it. And as it does so, I'm going to go ahead and counter spin this out as well. You can hear it lock in there. And one more. You can see it's in this great little position here on this side of our vehicle. Now I can walk right up. I have total access to the back here. And one thing that's I think is great about it, you can turn this into a little hangout spot. You know, if you're at the trail, it can definitely fit 2 people. Great for changing your boots and anything else you might need. And it's just a nice little spot to hang out. Plenty of space to here to actually get all those coolers, anything we might need. Love how much that swings out and how easy it is to do. And one thing to point out too, can be great for servicing your bike in this position. A lot of carriers kind of end up having you trapped behind your vehicle there. There's really no good way to access that front, or I'm sorry, that closest bike, as that other front bike is kind of in the way sometimes. So nice that we actually get full access, even if we had it just sitting here on our carrier. So do love to see that, of how easy it is to condense down. I'm just gonna go ahead and shut this guy for now. And we can start bringing this guy in. I like to start right here on this middle point. Just start bringing that in. You can allow this to rotate. And as I do so, I pull that blue knob. And then I can start spinning my bike in. Walking it up all the way. And it will click itself in, that blue knob that we released earlier. That means it's lined up. And that brings me back to my inner assembly here. And I can start running this lever back down. It's going to go ahead and try to find itself there, like so. Very quick and easy to use, guys. I know that's all we hear nowadays, but it really is. I mean, especially for what you're getting, right? We just swung that all the way out to the side, and here I am getting it ready right away. Making sure that lever's off to the side so our tilt away doesn't have any issues later. And we're already ready to go there. And it is very secure. I mean, look at that. As I'm shaking it, all those things do a good job of bringing it right back in line. You know, you might go, man, that might make it really flimsy, but no, it does hang on there very, very well. Well, let's go ahead and just pop the bike off, see how easy that is to do, right? We are carrying these guys. So to do so, I'm just going to bring myself back to our ratchet strips here, holding on our outer cradle. Just pushing on that blue lever, again, that blue contact point. And I do like pointing out, it has a little hole here for our fingers. Can be great of making sure we are getting nice and cinched down. Can be very helpful too. If we're cold, you know, not having a pinch with our hands, just going to be hanging right there for us. I'm just going to go ahead and put that guy out to the side. Now, I recommend also moving this arm as we get a little closer. It can really help to get close to your bikes, especially if you start reaching that 60 limit mark. You're going to find yourself with a lot heavier bike. We're going to give you as much room as we can to get underneath it, get that center mass below us. So we're going to go ahead right to our arm system here. Again, that ergonomic design coming in quite nice to allow us to get that good amount of pressure, to pull that lever up, and just push it off to the side. Get that nice Sturm stance underneath, and just lift right off, and we are good to ride. So you can see how quick and easy that is. To mount it is going to be a little easy too, or just as easy. The only thing to watch out for, I was going to mention, is just these strips can get a little bit in the way. You hook your wheel underneath. It makes it really easy to get inside there and start ratcheting those down. Again, that front wheel cradle comes right up in, collapses down. You can really start seeing how fast it can really start condensing, making itself look pretty nice on the back of our vehicle. Talking about the back of our vehicle, we are adding a little bit of length to the Murano, as you guys can see, but we actually do have a way of shortening that down pretty quick. So let's give us an idea of what we're working with here. From the rear of our bumper to the very end of our carrier is putting us right at, if I can get this guy to go straight for me, guys, sorry about that, 28 1/4 inches to the very end here. Let me go ahead and actually get this furthest point, guys. Sorry about that. Yep, putting us, that is actually adding a little bit of room there, so about 30.5 inches to that end of that post. So definitely a little length to consider. Not the worst I've seen, especially for how much we actually are getting on this carrier. But we do have a way of shortening that down really, really quickly for ourselves. But before we get to that, I'm going to go ahead and give us a little bit of a clearance measurement here. I think our biggest point of concern is going to be right here on our end. And this is the furthest point from our rear axle. So let's go ahead and see from the ground to the end of our carrier here. It's putting us right at 21.5 inches, maybe 1/16 above that. So about 21 9/16 to the top there. Definitely going to be a lot of height. Don't think we're going to have any issues with it. I'd just be careful. As those front wheels go up, the back will go down. So will your hitch-mounted accessories. So if you have any very steep terrain, or if you're going in kind of off-roading, it's just something to be conscious of. But it's bringing us back to that put-away function. We definitely want to shorten that length down that we have on the back end. And to do so, all I got to do is pull that blue lever one more time. Instead of tilting down, I'm going to bring it right back up into its standing position. Right there, it's going to click in. You're going to see it is very close to a Murano here, a little bit on the side. Not going to be too much room, however, not going to have any kind of contact. I'd like to point out that these arms have a very good resistance, so even when they are kind of jiggling around here, you can see how much it's taking me to actually move those. And also, you're probably only going to get up and down bounces, so by far it's not going to be anything pushing against it. Going to have that good resistance. Won't be having any kind of contact. Looks like we're sitting about 1.25 inches there to the end of our cradle, so definitely not a lot of room there for wiggle room. However, I don't think we're going to need it. It's not in the way of our tail lights at all. And the only thing I'd keep in consideration here is our backup cam is kind of sitting right around here, so we actually should get pretty good views throughout it. Just keep in mind that central post is going to be a little close to it. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for ourselves, though. Now, another important clearance dimension is going to be in this position. And since we are sitting pretty close to our hitch, though, and our rear axle, we shouldn't have too many issues right here. However, puts us right at 10 3/4 there from the bottom of the ground to our position. So, again, with us being so close, shouldn't be an issue, but I just want to make sure we all are aware of it. That also brings us right to our locking cord here on the side. And what's great about this guy does come also with a cable lock to go ahead and run through all of our bikes. And then we can go ahead and put it right here and secure it with this locking core. What's great about it as well, this will be key to light to our hitch lock that we're about to break down here just in a few. So great that we can make sure that our bikes are secure to our rack. Moving our way down, though, you can see past our inner assembly that we do have a 2-inch shank here today. We've also gone ahead and thrown on an etrailer hitch pin alignment collar. Now, these are sold separately, but we just wanted to showcase them for you guys today because these can really be a headache saver. So when I get this guy on and I throw in my hitch pin alignment, I finally get those holes lined up. All I had to do is throw on this collar, and now every time I take this carrier on and off, it'll walk itself right up. I can put my pin in, and I'm ready to go in no time. So definitely saves a lot of the hassle, especially with the hitches in the Murano. They sit a little bit more underneath the vehicle, as you can see. So, we were scrounging around, especially if we're at the trails, and we maybe need to tighten something down. Can be a pain if we are, in the dirt, on our knees all the time. Nice that we're removing a lot of that headache for ourselves. Talking about our hitch pin alignment, though, we do have a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt here also included. And what's great about these guys, they are standard, but as you can see, I'm shaking this guy. It's shaking the entire vehicle. That's taken a lot of the play out for our carrier, which is making for a nice smooth ride for ourselves, our bike rack, but especially our bikes as they are on our carrier. And of course, as we mentioned, we do have that little locking core on the end, and that will be key to light to our locking core for our cable lock that we have included up above, as we mentioned. Well, I am a huge fan of the BackStage. Not only are you getting a lot of maneuverability with the rack, as you guys saw, but I also think it looks really clean doing it as well. And with a 60-pound capacity limit too, I don't think we're going to have any trouble getting most of the bikes that we need up on here. And they've already gone ahead and thrown it in a fat tire bike included as well. So it really just starts expanding its repertoire of bikes that it can add up on this guy. Well, I think that about does it for our look at the RockyMounts BackStage 2-bike platform rack here on our 2020 Nissan Murano. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the Slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Once we get to the full speed bumps, we'll see the up and down action. This will be just like driving in and out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement.